Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the AEW Dynamite pre-show with Novi. Today, we are rocking solo. Some would say it's just me, Oos. But I hope you guys are all doing well, nonetheless. If you are doing well, if you're ready to go, make sure to leave a like on this stream. Make sure to drop a comment. You guys lead the show as usual. And it's just solo. We'll have some questions to talk to. We'll get into some stuff. There's a lot that's happened in the past week. We had the New Japan show. AEW finally cleared some people that have been asking to be cleared for a minute from their roster, which is interesting. The Federation released some wrestlers. There's been a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in wrestling always. But if you guys are ready to go, make sure to drop comments down below. Once again, we have super chats turned on if you're feeling oh so generous. We should probably just jump in, and I feel like no better place. I mean, of course, Art Irony is here before the show, 4:25 p.m. Why are we talking about All Elite Wrestling when Hiroki Goto is finally IWGP World Heavyweight Champion? This is a fantastic point here from Art Irony. I mean, folks, what a show. What a show from New Japan. I mean, I watched the matches that I was really interested in yesterday. I decided to speed through it. I was like, I'm going to get through everything. I started at the very top with the IWGP World Championship match. Hiroki Goto is finally crowned. Beautiful match. I gave it 5. I thought it was absolutely tremendous. The escalation and the way they played off the Osaka crowd, the drama was just fantastic. It was just glorious. And then the moment afterwards, he's with his kids. He's with the four-eyed demon, as Khalid would say. His son, his daughter as well. It was a wonderful moment. It's going to be very difficult for that to be topped all year. It very much reminds me of Sting's retirement. It's just like obviously not in the same vein, but it's just such a great moment happening so early on. It's going to be tough. And then underneath on the card, I went up, then I went back. I went down, then back up. So I watched Drilla Maloney take on Shingo Takagi. Drilla looking good as a heavyweight. Good floor, I think, on him. He's got a good look, got a good finisher. We'll see what happens. I watched Konosuke Takeshita to Oleg Boltin. Fucking fantastic. Two big dudes just throwing hands, just beating ass. That's always a good time. And then, of course, Yota Tsuji versus Gabe Kidd. I mean, that was glorious. I posted a big thread on it on Twitter. I don't usually do threads, but I did that yesterday because it just moved me so much. It was a reminder of why I love these guys, why I fell in love with them in G133. My first intro to New Japan, the first videos on this channel. It was wonderful. I'm very happy with that show. I feel like it's definitely show of the year. I mean, Wrestle Kingdom, if it wasn't for the main event, and then Wrestle Dynasty was also quite a good show. I'd have Wrestle Dynasty number 2. I'd have this number 1 for sure. But it was a wonderful time. Shout out Hiroki Goto. We will be walking with the G in IWGP to continue the year. Appreciate you, Art Irony. And good to see. And enjoyed the Briscoe Fletcher match from Collision. Hologram and Bandito made their returns as well. Yes, I watched Collision as well. Now, I don't always rewatch Collision. I don't always catch up whenever I miss it, but I did watch this week, and it was it was just a great show. The crowd was so energized. Obviously, you're going to get that when you're in Texas. The main event, like you said, Briscoe Fletcher. Fuck, it's a really, really good match. AEW's best match of the year. I think the only one that comes close for me is Ricochet and Swerve. It's not like they haven't had any, and I don't really count Dynasty as like that kind of thing. But yeah, those are the two that I think of when I think of this year for them. Just a fantastic showing. Fletcher is the future, and he's the now, honestly, and then Briscoe should be world champion. It's great to see Hologram. Lucha Hour on Collision was fantastic, and Bandito and Brian Keith. Brian Keith, please get away from the Jericho verse. You deserve more, brother. You deserve more. Fantastic match. Fantastic returns. Great show. Appreciate you. And it is a perfect time for Undisputed Kingdom to be Trios champions today. That is a thing that's happening. They are facing the Death Riders for the Trios belts. The Trios belts that they remembered they had and brought to the show. And it'll probably bring this time. And they're out there. They're not even in briefcases. I mean, this is a transcendent moment in Death Riders history. I'm looking forward to this match. I think Adam Cole's been pretty good in these Undisputed Kingdom trios. It kind of like is the best match for him, given he can't exactly go like he used to, you know. Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy Strong always putting in work, especially Roddy Strong. Roddy Strong is Roddy Strong is special as always. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I don't know who's going to win. Since you bring it up, I do think it probably will be Death Riders. But if they lose here, I think we can kind of smell some pivoting. I think that might lend credence to some ideas that people are having for them to get off Mox as world champion. But we'll have to wait for the result. I'm not, again, I should note here, this show is taped. I have not looked at hardly any of the spoilers. I know what the card is, the non-spoiler card, but I don't know any of the results. Don't tell me here. We're watching AEW as though it's live in some ways. Ian Davis, good to see Ian. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you, brother. I'm going into the cards tonight with caution, but it still looks solid. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. It looks to be a good time. Definitely doesn't seem to be as loaded as some other ones that they've had, but it still does look like a good show. We'll probably cover a good bit of it too tonight, more so than usual. Oh my God. My cat just knocked a bunch. What did he knock down? What did you knock down? I don't know what he knocked down, but my cat knocked something down. I don't know if you guys heard that, but yeah, that happened. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it. But yeah, Carl looks solid. Ian, thank you, bro. J.A. Novi, what are your thoughts on the WWE and AEW releases? Personally, I love that we can finally see the end of We're So and So Wrestler. Yeah, on the WWE side, I'm less keen on it. You know what I mean? Because they are a giant corporation and they have the money to keep paying these guys, even if they're not doing so, and they're choosing not to for no good reason, really. I mean, they're not. It's not like these people are doing very much, but still, it's a little much with AEW. I'm pretty sure all three of these guys asked for their release. Ricky Starks, Miro, and Malachi all at one point asked for their release. So it's good to grant them that. I don't think you should hold up wrestlers who want to leave. I don't think there's any value in that. I don't think there's any point. And like you said, we can kind of end these conversations that have been so painfully boring for far too long within this space. So yeah, that's my take on those. It's unfortunate to see people losing their jobs. That's kind of what I think of every time. It's like, that's more so for the WWE side because these guys didn't ask for them. They didn't ask to get released. So it is unfortunate to see them go. Both AEW, I mean, they didn't want to be there. They shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you, Jay. I appreciate you. Art Irony, besides Cedric and maybe Blair, I think they all end up in TNA or quit wrestling entirely. Miro's probably done, and Malachi is probably coming back on Friday. Yeah, I think Cedric has a shot with AEW. I mean, he's got some people there pulling for him, I'm sure. I mean, the Hurt Syndicate, that was reported that they were pulling for him. I don't particularly want to see it all that much. I'd like to see him more prove it. If you're going to bring him in, have him work some matches and show that he can still go at the level that he could go at one point. He's never going to be what he could be at one point, but you guys know what I mean. It's just like, I want to see him prove it a little bit before I put him in that role. It's a big time role. Hurt Syndicate is a big time role on TV. I'd like to see him show something beforehand. Blair Davenport, never say no. I don't know. I feel like she's probably going to go to Japan. She's kind of alluded to that, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where in Japan, but she's going to go somewhere over there. So, yeah, it's fine. A lot of the other WWE releases probably just call it quits. I mean, they might work indies and stuff, which would be fine. Isla Dawn could definitely be somebody I could see maybe. It's hard to rattle off all the people off the top of my head, but yeah. And then I think for the AEW releases, I think Miro, he will try to get a job at the other place. Malachi has probably already got one, and Ricky is in NXT. So, they'll be okay. They'll be all right. We'll see. Ian Davis, we are Japan men. This is true. We are representing the cerulean blue this year, no doubt. And Cedric destined to come to AEW and reunite with the Hurt Syndicate. It does seem this way, but like I said, I'd like to see him prove it a little bit before he gets thrusted into a role it's very big. They got a lot of TV time. I'd like to see him do something beforehand. Art Irony, the Goto movement is something that kind of only happened once a generation. Like this was a moment 18 years in the making. Exactly. I mean, he tried and failed so many times beforehand. This has been such a long-term thing. And this didn't happen because he wanted to. It's because the fans willed him to right now and that the company needed him to. I mean, that's that's what makes it special. He wasn't willing himself into this role. He was chosen by the fans to do this, and that's what makes a moment like that possible. So, shout out Goto, man. It's some like you said, it's something it's very rare. Not once a generation, I don't know, but it's definitely very, very rare. Another one here from Art Irony. Keith versus Bandito was so sick, but also made me sad because you realize what Chris Jericho deprived us all for these months. Bro is not seeing heaven. This is very true for Chris Jericho. He's not seeing heaven, I'm afraid. For his AEW run, maybe exactly. But yeah, Keith Bandito was just so sick. I was so high on Keith. I'd seen some of his stuff on the indies, and he just seemed like such a promising talent. So yeah, I just hope we see more of it. I hope we see more of it. And Bandito hadn't wrestled for so long, and he showed everything that I had praised him for before right here. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Special talents. J.A., while I do think the product is getting better, one thing that irks me is the lack of any real division in AEW. TK thinks every match has to be a 15-minute classic, and if everyone is special, nobody is. That's kind of the big thing for me. I was spouting, I posted a video on this channel about hierarchy in AEW, and it's still a video that I am very proud of. It may be the video I'm most proud of on the channel, to be honest with you. I thought, like, I really, that point wasn't just from me. I mean, everybody was kind of thinking it, but I just liked how that video came out, and so going back to it, which was, I'm looking right now for you folks. I'm looking and seeing, that was 8 months ago. And it doesn't seem like anything has changed. And it does hurt the product quite a bit. It hurts every show. It hurts the pay-per-views, the weekly TVs, all of it. So I'd really still like to see the hierarchy get developed. I think it's starting. We're seeing little glimpses of it, little pieces, but it hasn't been developed as fully as I would like it to. And Fletcher needs some gold this year. So does Hobbs, Briscoe. I mean, we're on the same page here. We're on the same page. I don't know what belt Fletcher needs to get. I'd like to see him get some world title by this time next year, but I'd like to see him maybe get something in between. I mean, he is just such a special talent, man. He's been on a heater. He's been so incredible. Hobbs, I could very easily see him coming out of this big Bill feud, getting a big shot at a big time belt. I think that'd be sick. And then Briscoe, I think he should be world champion. I'm keeping a buck with you. There's a lot of names that I've pointed to who could be world champion. I think Mark Briscoe should at least feud with Jon Moxley, and I think we should probably see what happens here. I think we should let him run wild. So yeah, Ian Davis, we need big Kevin Knight. I agree. I'm fully locked in on Kevin Knight being the fourth member of the Hurt Syndicate. I know yesterday I don't want to say his name. Cowboy Black, if those who know the disgrace, who has made his return lately, so maybe he's not so disgraced anymore, was saying in the Discord yesterday that he would like a kind of battle between them both, like Kevin Knight and Cedric, and just see who's better, see who performs better, who moves MVP more. I think that'd be sick. So I'm locked in. Chris, as much as I love AEW, out of the 3 wrestlers released by AEW, which one do you think has been the biggest fumble for me? I would have to say Ricky. It's tough to say. I think Ricky hasn't been necessarily a fumble. I don't think he's had a great run, but I don't know if that's all AEW's fault. Miro is a fucking animal, like just an animal when it comes to, doing his thing, you know what I mean? Laying down. And Malachi is just, he got cooked. So I would probably agree with saying Ricky. But personally, I would have liked to see the Miro God Server champion run last a little bit longer than it did. I don't think we needed the shock transition to Sammy Guevara of all people after that. So those are definitely 2 names. I don't think Malachi was fumbled. I know some people will say that, but I can't agree. Anjan Goto, spammed multiple times, of course. And the British imperialism is over for now. They have stopped taking over the country of Japan. It is done. I will say, speaking on British, Zack Sabre Jr., fuck, what a great performance he had in that match. I mean, I think him being a snarky, like, confident heel is the best version of him. And the way, like him being able to use his technical work to do the false finishes and earn the drama from the crowd, make them beg for their hero to get to the ropes. I think that is perfect for him. He had a great performance in that match, and I don't, he had a terrible match at Wrestle Kingdom. It is what it is, terrible match. But I don't think he's a bad wrestler at all. And I'm glad he got to have the run that he did. He'd been so loyal to them for so long. He kind of deserved it. Lord Lambeau, of course, unshockingly, Mariah May will retain. Hashtag and still. I'm afraid I got some bad news for you. Unfortunate business here happening at Grand Slam for Lord Lambeau. Dare Rich, I wish tonight's Dynamite in Austin, Texas was live, but I understand Tony Khan giving time for the wrestlers to fly to Australia. Yeah, I'm glad they get time. You know what I mean? Like, it's a tough flight, tough travel days ahead. So it is what it is. I think Texas will not let us down, even though it's taped. I think it'll feel live enough for me. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it. I have no issues with it at all. Angie and Fletcher beats DG for the TNT title. I could definitely see this. However, I think Big Powerhouse Hobbs might have a TNT title. I think he might need another run with it. I don't know. Maybe that's not the right answer, but I think he could use another shot at it. And I think Fletcher should do some business with Konosuke Takeshita with his belt. But what do I know? You know what I mean? If I had to say for Fletcher getting championships right now, I think if I had to say which one he should get, it'd probably be DG. But I feel like the Takeshita story might have a little more juice to it. But I think someone else has their eye on Takeshita's belt, so we'll see. And Jen, they should do Briscoe Mox for Dynasty. Yes, yeah, because I know where that pay-per-view is at. Let me actually look AEW pay-per-view schedule, because I think you're right with what I would want as well, because that should be in between things. Wait, hang on now. Hang on. Oh wait, no, it's 2019. My bad. I was looking at the wrong thing. That's on me. Yeah, that is before All In. Okay, then yeah, they should do that for Dynasty, no doubt. I would love to see it there. Then, he should win it there too, and they should headline All In. Ian Davis, I need Briscoe as TNT champ with open challenges almost every other week. This is also not a terrible idea at all. Briscoe working open challenges would be glorious, I would have to say. He is a special talent who has special matches. I'd like to see them every week, ideally. And Miro and Malachi going to WWE will be good addition to their mid-card division. I can't see either of them being pushed into the main event or the upper mid-card. Since they are AEW wrestlers, like before, like most recently, I could see him getting pushed kind of high. But yeah, I think they'll enjoy SmackDown if they both go there. Yeah, because that SmackDown division is horrific. Chill Mellow. What did Malachi do after the Cody feud? Mostly trio stuff. And I did enjoy a good bit of the trio stuff with the House of Black. I always enjoyed the House of Black. I think that was the best role for Malachi because he was very cooked for a while there. So I really had no issue with it. But that'd be almost the only thing he's done since then. But it is what it is. That's the game. Art Irony. Mirror's release made me a little sad because we lost a generational check stealer. Bro didn't show up to work for 408 days. This is very true. This is what I also thought of. I mean, Miro's been sitting at home. He's been sitting in Bulgaria with the football jerseys on the wall, watching the big games, and he is just cashing millions of dollars. He's just sending it into the bank. I mean, that's just legendary stuff. It doesn't get better than that. He didn't go to work. He didn't lay down. He lost his last singles loss I saw was against Bryan Danielson in like 2022 or something like that. What a legend. What a legend. Shout out Miro, man, for what he did. I mean, that's just respectable business there. They're rich. Have you ever seen Marshall and Ross Von Erich wrestle? They would have a great tag team match with Cody and Dustin's nephews, Wayne and Wyatt Rhodes, Texas Outlaws. I've never seen those two wrestle, but I have seen Marshall and Ross Von Erich. And they're a pretty good team. They're not bad at all. I see no issues. And he had a pretty solid reign except for the Umino match. Yeah. Hang on. Got a cough. I low-key have a cold. Low-key. But yeah, he had a good reign. I didn't hate it, to be honest with you. So it is what it is. Narratives change things. Unfortunate. Good job, Marcus. Shout out, Marcus. Long time pre-show. What a guest. Co-host, I would say, is probably a better term for it, of Dynamite review fame as well. The only man to pin Miro on AEW being Sammy Guevara is gonna be a trivia fact. It is Brian Danielson also pinned him. That is also what happened. But those two, I think it was only those two. I'm serious. I think it was only those two that ever pinned him. Okay, then you see, whereas Dragon won by ref. Was that true? I got bamboozled. That is fucking bonkers, bro. That is bonkers. Fuck Sammy Guevara being the only one to pin him. Just a generational worker, man. It is what it is. Ian Davis, Zach had a fantastic performance. His IWGP Championship reign made me forget how much of a hooper he is. Him being forced in those main event matches with his style, it wasn't the best route to go. It was always going to be tough, but he still balls out. He can still have great singles matches. It just needs to be put in the right spots. That's really all it comes down to. Lord Lambo is holding the faith on Mariah May. Good luck. Good luck. I wish you the best, brother. But Tony Storm will be taking that belt, I'm afraid. And speaking about Dragon, and then Marcus corrects. Shout out, Marcus, for the correction. And I got to wake up at 7:30 in the morning to go to Grand Slam over here in the UK. My God. Oh, 2 Grand Slam for the show. Okay, I got it. That's kind of crazy. But shout out. Let's see here. Just Ryan, babyface Takeshi to come back. I mean, he's just beautiful. It's just glorious. Whenever he hits guys hard, it just does his thing. I mean, it's just wonderful. It doesn't get better. Daryl Rich, hope they announce a few more things for Grand Slam Australia. Maybe a couple pre-show matches or a battle royale or a multi-man tag. I think we kind of got what we're going to get in a lot of ways, but I wouldn't hate for a battle royal, I think. But then you have to ask people to go over and fly to Australia and all this stuff. It's a tough scenes. So yeah, I think 5 is an all right number, especially with the matches. They're going to get some time. I'm a fan. Let's see here. Lambo Briscoe would be an amazing world champ. Could give the next heel to win the world title. Tremendous heat beating mark. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Art Irony. Unfortunately, there's a decent chance we see the pivot from Mox to Cope because Tony's going to take the wrong lesson from all the pivot talk. Yeah, I could definitely see this happening. It's not unthinkable for Revolution, but I honestly, sure, if this is how it happens, if this is how we get the belt away from the Death Riders, just is what it is, I'm not particularly moved by Cope at the top of the card or even holding the world title. But it's in such a bad position right now. Like, anything might be better. So I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't just be mad at it. You know what I mean? Like some people would. I think it'd probably do some good to whoever would win it off of next. I'm assuming they would switch it again at Dynasty after. I don't know, man. It's tough scenes. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. Daryl Rich, snowing today and right now here in Toronto, and will not stop snowing until 9 a.m. Good God. Snowy places are quite spooky. It is raining over here in Charlotte. It's a wonderful rainy day. And I couldn't wake up until late in the afternoon. So unfortunately, fortunately, we're not getting snow because it shuts down the whole fucking city when we get snow here. But hey, shout out. I'm going to drink this water now, folks. I'm going to drink this water. That's wonderful water. Truly wonderful water. And I enjoyed Malachi's feud with Copeland, Double or Nothing last year. That was his best singles feud other than the one he had with Cody. Yeah, I remember that being a feud. I remember I enjoyed the House of Black versus DG and FTR. I enjoyed since the feud with Cody. So yeah, I don't think he's been bad. Good God, I'm fucked. I appreciate you guys. No, I'm muting every time I cough because it would be painfully loud. So shout out, I guess. But yeah, I would agree with this, and I also enjoyed it. JA, I hear a lot of good brothers washed takes online. Should AW sign them or let them walk? Anything for Uncle Allen is my opinion. Brother, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think that they should join AEW regardless of Uncle Allen. I think they have something to offer as a tag team. They are veterans. They are solid hands. I think it's fine. I have no issue with it. And also, again, like you said, does sweeten the Uncle Al deal. So I really have no issue with it if they were to bring him in. I'd be cool with it, in fact. I'd welcome it, would even say. Riley Walker, not the biggest Sammy fan, but people do forget how popular and over he was when he beat Miro for the belt. Revisionist history thinks of Sammy in the Scorp feud, but he was still popular. He was popular. I'm never gonna say he wasn't popular around the time, but it definitely felt like it cut off something that could have been very, very special with the Miro God's Favorite Champion run. And I think around that time, a lot of people felt the same way. So yeah, it's not like he was unpopular or anything, but I think it cut off something, and I don't think it led to anything good. I mean, his run, multiple reigns were just not good at all. So yeah, I see what you mean, but I don't think this is necessarily exactly how it went down. Our irony, pitch for Forbidden Door 2025. This could be nasty. Never openweight champ Konosuke Takeshita versus AEW International champ Konosuke Takeshita for both titles. Okay, it's not nasty. Thought there could be some shooter talk in here, some battle arts business. But yeah, I'm cool with this. Let's just let him wrestle himself. I'm sure it'll be good. He could just run around the ring. I'm sure it'll be fine. He'll give himself a blue thunder bomb and stuff. Sure, no problem with that. Let's see here. Yeah, Riley, Tilda, Andy, and Darby triple threat for the TNT. This is also a moment where the TNT belt took a big hit because Andy El Idolo of having child fame should have beaten Sammy for the belt there. Should have, 100%. Chill Mello, Jay White should be the next international champion. No, I'm okay, truthfully. I don't think he should beat Takeshita at all. I don't think that should ever happen. I'm not that interested in Jay White as a singles guy at the moment. I think he could probably do something in the trios division again with the Guns. That would be a cool spot for him right now. But I just don't think he has much to offer in that role. And as champion, I think it'll go pretty poorly, especially if he beats Takeshita. Like, not. I'm dying. Unfortunately, I'm dying. You actually saying Jay White should beat Takeshita is what caused me to die. Thank you, Mello. Appreciate that, bro. Fuck. Prince Vegeta, sub Novi. Good to see you, Vegeta. I know the time zone for you, right, is fucked up. So I appreciate you coming to hang out, making the show. Much appreciated. Chris, with the way Grand Slam has been, I really hope AEW learns from this and maybe uses Grand Slam and takes international, makes it a TV special. We're seeing in different countries. Yeah, this would be cool. I'm down for this. They kind of fucked up with the Australia business. I don't think they booked the right venue, didn't do some of that stuff right. But I think if we go to like Arena Mexico or something like that, it could be fucking awesome. So I'm cool with this. And Jim PN, Uncle Al, we will get you out of there and give you that Kenny match. Just pick up the phone. Very true. We'll hand you a check and you tell us how many zeros. We're gonna get that Ospreay match, brother. No worries. Ospreay will get what he's been fucking begging for. He'll do it. Idol's Corner. I don't want all elderly wrestling, man. I do appreciate it. I did make a video on this. So if you guys do want to hear my thoughts on all elderly wrestling, I posted a video this week. Make sure to check that out. We went over everything that goes into this issue. So again, check it out. Prince Vegeta. Nah, Jay White should either win the AEW World Championship or CC Championship in the tournament. I just don't. I get why people enjoy Jay White. Now, I'm not going to say he's bad or anything like that, but it's just not something I'm totally into at this moment. I don't think he's not in the right spot for it in my eyes, at least just the way I see things. So I see what you mean, Vegeta, and I'm not going to yell at you and say Jay White fucking sucks, but it's just not something I'm interested in. Idol's Corner. Cope has to be a transitional champion. If it's an older guy, I'd prefer Christian so Ospreay can take it in a heel versus face match. Yeah, if Cope is going to win, he should be a transitional champion. He should transition it to Will Ospreay. And I don't think Christian's been very good lately either, to be quite honest with you. So I'm good on that. Unfortunately, I just haven't thought that highly of his work in the last few months. But with Ospreay being the champion after that, he gets crowned at Dynasty. I see no issue with it. Caden, we're skipping over your comment. We're done with Caden Lee. We're done. But I'll put this up here. Dare Rich. See you, Novi. Enjoy tonight's Dynamite. I'm going to get my dinner. Enjoy your dinner, Dare Rich. I appreciate you coming to hang out. Art Irony. Good brothers are this generation's Hall and Nash, where they aren't even good, but have collected every bag imaginable. And I think they should keep collecting bags, in fact. I think they should keep earning checks because they are good. I've decided they are good. And I'm not just saying that because I get paid by Joseph James Holbert. I'm saying that because I believe it, because I like the Good Brothers, and they should earn more checks from AEW. Marcus, me and my good friend William Ospreay working on getting Goto Shibata booked for Forbidden Door as we speak. Glorious. I hope you two are successful in your bid. Hopefully we see the Shibata Tanahashi match at some point, the actual match, instead of just the exhibition we saw in the Tokyo Dome. But hey, Goto Shibata Forbidden Door, cook something up, something sweet for me. I would love it. Andrew Sarro, hello. I may be in the minority, but the Mox stuff turned a corner on Collision for me. He seemed back to being Mox, but a heel instead of a movie boy. Unfortunately, while I do see where you're coming from, it's going to take a few more than a few good segments for me to be into the Death Riders. And I think the moments passed on them in a lot of ways for me. But I get what you're saying. They have been very good recently. I have actually enjoyed what they've been doing. So I get where you're coming from. And not a fan of Cope going after Mox. When he returned, he should have gone after his TNT belt. Very true. It makes you think. Idol's Corner, they do Grand Slams in Europe. We would shut those down. In the UK, France, Germany especially. Oh, yeah. I think this would be a wonderful idea. They should definitely work something out here. Art Irony, AW needs to do a literal Collision in Korea and tape Collision in North Korea at 1st of May Stadium in Pyongyang. Good call, Art Irony. Thank you for the idea. I'll relay that to TK. Prince Vegeta, I get what you mean too, but Jay White is in a spot kind of like Swerve was in. He has his fans and he can ascend. It's always possible. But I don't know. There's so many great wrestlers at the top of AEW's card. Well, maybe not at the top of AEW's card right now, but wrestlers who should be up there that I just don't know if he's on the level. Then he has to kind of prove it to me in a few ways. His AEW run, he hasn't. So I see a few more things here. He could ascend his level just from a short title reign. Jay White going back to trios is crazy. Look, I get where you guys are coming from. I get why people are Jay White fans. It's just not necessarily for me, and I don't think he should be in that spot, in my personal opinion. That's all. Art Irony does say Jay versus Swerve would actually be a cool feud. It could be. I could see the vision there. So at some point, I would definitely enjoy something like that. KK, Cope beats Mox, then Christian Cage uses his contract to rob Cope of the title. It's a very real direction that could possibly go down on Revolution. I could very well see this, but it remains to be seen because he hasn't done anything with that little briefcase he's got going on with a big dent in it in a minute. So we'll see if they start playing that up a little bit. We'll smell something. Andrew Sarro, the AEW crowd would lose their minds for Hurt Syndicate and Good Brothers stare downs. You know it. I do know it, and I respect it. In fact, I would lose my mind. I'd go, holy shit. I do chants and everything. It'd be incredible. So they should do this. Good call, Andrew. Good call. The Gleet Brothers. Actually, they're not called the Good Brothers or the Gleet Brothers. They're called the Great Brothers. Shout out Bob O'Neill. Idol's Corner. Do you think AEW should change the theme song for Dynamite? I would go bold and make a steal on a rap classic into club. Brings an exclusive and violent vibe. I don't know. I haven't really heard the theme in a minute. Maybe I'm just tripping, but I haven't heard it in a minute. Yeah, I don't know if I love the theme that they went with. I remember what it is at this point. Even if I haven't heard it, I think they probably could have gone in a more bold direction. But I wouldn't be against it. This is a good point here from Art Irony. AEW needs to use Crank That Soldier Boy for Collision's theme. I agree. It should be. You Crank That Soldier, that kind of business. I think that'd be great. And Jay White, lucky to be positioned in the main event spot. I think his level is a TNT CC at best. I would agree with you, and I hear you. Again, I agree. Idol's Corner, especially with the rise of Swerve, Hurt Business, I think AEW should start using music as a unique selling point because WWE is floundering in that department. I would like to see TK break out the pocketbook and write some checks for some real music. I think that would be a fantastic decision. And I think it helps wrestlers so much in terms of their personality and their uniqueness and how people respond to them. I think it really does help them get over. So I would agree with this fully. I think they should buy more real music. They should lease more real music. It's important. It really does help talent. So yeah, and I think they should whenever our boy over what's his name? I'm like losing his name at the moment. Brass Monkey should come up here. That's what I'm telling you. Brass Monkey needs to be heard soon. R Draco 369. I agree about Jay White. He's lacking a little for the main event guy, but as the leader of Bullet Club, he's gold. True. He is a great leader as the Bullet Club Gold. I did really enjoy them as a faction for a while there. I don't see Jay White as a singles champ, but man, I could smell it when they were in that group. It was a wonderful pairing. So I do hope they get back to that. Big Fat Orange Cat. How have you felt about the wrestling scene as of late since the future of wrestling scares me vid? This is very funny because I was going to make a tweet about this yesterday where I was going to say that I think the video has aged quite well because I think all of the things that were scary that I kind of put forward in that video have remained scary. And in some ways have even gotten scarier. The homogenization is getting crazier. It's getting wilder. The places for people to go earn money could get even worse here in a minute. Like I'm kind of smelling TNA. What's going to happen there? I don't know. But it doesn't seem good. So yeah, I think it really has aged well. I think in every aspect, to be quite honest with you, I still kind of stand by a lot of what I said. And I do raise a lot of those alarm bells still to this day. So yeah, I appreciate the question. I don't know, man. Wrestling, I'm really enjoying it right now, to be honest with you guys. Like, as of late, New Japan, I've been watching fucking Raw, of all things. AEW, I even go to Joshi. I'm enjoying that. Like, there's just so much in wrestling that I really, really enjoy. DPW, I've been enjoying a lot lately. But it's still, like, the points still stand, even if I'm having fun with it. So, yeah, I appreciate you, Orange Cat. Good to see you as well. Prince Vegeta. To be honest, if I was TK, I would have Jay White beat Mox for the World Championship, and then I'd have Hangman beat Jay White. Hangman definitely needs another title reign because he's the heart of AEW. Well, I agree with him being the heart of AEW. That's just no doubt. That's just obvious. The facts are just facts there on that front. I don't know. I would want him to have a little bit longer of a reign, and it does kind of seem like he's in the process of maybe turning, maybe slowly earning himself back to the good side, which I don't know how I feel about just yet. I'm letting it play out. So I don't know if that's going to happen right about now, but I wouldn't hate it if they told a good story with it. R Draco, he's a good group leader. I think that's his niche right now. I would agree. I think he is a fantastic group leader. I think does actually elevate the groups he's in. So I would like him to do more of that. I agree. Idol's Corner, you are watching Collision on Saturday night. True, except I won't be watching Collision on Saturday night this week. I'll be watching Grand Slam Australia, and I'll be doing it behind the Late Night Grin's membership program, the Late Night Grin Gold. Make sure to join us over there. Me, Caden Lee, Oracle, probably Brainbuster. We're going to be watching that show. We're going to watch NXT maybe even. It's going to be a great time. Great time. Please join us. And what do you think about the Guns back and already challenging for the belt tonight? It is rather unfortunate that they it's like poor decision making on their front in terms of kayfabe to walk back in just to be people to get hurt. But I am very happy the Guns are back. They've been a part of my FC for quite a long time. Even when people would say they were bad, even around their world tag title reign, I thought they were really good. So I've been a longtime fan, longtime supporter. It's great to see them back in the game. And I'm really hoping tonight's match is great. I think it will be. The Guns are great bump guys. They're great at filling in their role. So I'm totally on board with it. I'm very happy for the two. And I hope they continue after this match to be around and to do stuff. They're a cool tag team. They deserve time on the show. JA, for talking wrestling themes. Well Enough Alone by Chevelle would be an amazing Dynamite intro. I made an edit for TikTok and never posted at such an adrenaline rush. Jay, you should post that on Twitter. You should @ me in it. And If I agree, I'll add it with you. But make sure to post that on Twitter. I'm curious to see what it sounds like. But yeah. Red, how do you think they'll debut Speedball? I think they'll announce his signing at Revolution like they did with Ospreay at Full Gear 2023. They also did this with Swerve, I'm pretty sure, at Revolution. I think that I'm not crazy to think that. I don't know how they're going to debut Speedball. I've thought multiple times to start this year in multiple different matches that it was going to be him. And even tonight, Max Caster's doing an open challenge. You can kind of convince me it's going to be him again. But yeah, I just hope we see him soon, to be honest with you. I just hope he gets put in a spot. I don't think I think Art Irony's kind of correct here. He's not a big enough name. He's not Ospreay and Swerve. And Swerve wasn't like crazy or nothing, but it's just a different kind of vibe. I would like to see him debut in a match, preferably. Just go out there, work, do his thing. That's what's going to get him over. That's what's going to make him successful. So yeah, hopefully he also breaks out of this Bellatra addiction he's got going on. He keeps streaming on Twitch. Stop doing that, brother. No more video games. It's time to wrestle. Lace him up, brother. Or actually, don't lace him up because you work barefoot. Idol's Corner. How do you see Cedric Alexander fitting in the Hurt Business? A feud with Ricochet, perhaps, as a rite of passage. I did mention this earlier in the stream, but I think he needs to prove himself before he's ever put in that spot. It's a big spot that gets lots of TV time. And I think if he's going to be the wrestler, he's going to be a wrestler right for that spot. He needs to prove it. Got to show something. That's what I'd say. Because if not, I'd rather see someone like Kevin Knight in there. So yeah. Prince Vegeta, did you see the Bad Apple and Bandito Cowboy shoot off spot? Shoot off? What is that? Standoff. Shoot off is wrong. Standoff. And if so, what did you think about it? I like when AEW does fun stuff during that. I thought that spot was incredible. I thought it was great. The way they sold it, looking over their shoulder, counting 10 paces. I mean, that's just wonderful. It's a great spot. Will definitely be one that gets clipped up quite a bit. So yeah, I'm all good with it. I thought it was awesome. Andrew Sarrow, do we think more people are leaving AEW when people do oddly timed jobs? It makes me suspicious. I 100% see that. And it also makes me a little suspicious. It makes me a little wondery. I don't really want to speculate on if people are going to lose their jobs or leave AEW. I'd like to see the people that have requested their release get their release. But outside of that, I can never say for sure, you know? Let's see. Yeah, it's a good comment here from Art. The types of bit don't always work, but like that. Yeah, they had people raving in their seats, as Marcus put it. They had people jumping around, just raising their hands in the air, pumping their fists. It just works. It fit the vibe of the crowd. It was perfect. Our ever elusive Speedball debut, it seems to be never coming. They need to hurry up and get on it. Speedball, do your thing. The dream team of Speedballogram gonna rule 2025. This is actually pretty sick. I'd be very down for it. But Hologram and Commander, they're doing some stuff on Collision. I wouldn't mind seeing a team like that. Both high flyers, both doing really cool shit a lot of the time. I'd be on board with that, no doubt. I'm 100%. Let me look over here, folks. Sorry, 1 second. 1 second. Let me drink this water. Drink this water real quick. Okay, we're back. Idol's Corner. And what do you think Ricky Stark's ceiling is in WWE? Main show, mid-card champion. That's a pretty high ceiling, to be honest with you. I think he's going to do very well in NXT. I think he's going to have a great run down there. I think with their men's division right now, if you are a men's wrestler who isn't employed by the big two, you should be clamoring to get over there and do your thing on their TV. So I think he'll kill it over there. But I do have my doubts on the main roster. Let's keep it real for a minute. He's very short and he's skinny. And the main roster WWE guys are very big and juiced to the fucking gills, a lot of them. So I see it a little too risky. I think his ceiling is a great NXT act, but I think he'll probably flame out on the main roster. But I do hope to be proven wrong. I haven't even said it too. We've talked about Ricky. I do hope things go really well for him. Just after everything and after all this time, just being unable to sort things out, unable to get back to AEW, I want to see him do well. So, yeah, that's where I'd say is the ceiling for him. I think he's going to do great in NXT. He's going to flame out in the main roster. And Hangman versus MJF is the feud they're teasing. If done right, should be one of the best feuds of the year. I would agree with this. I think they've had a great feud so far. I think the pacing of it has been very well done. It's been slow, it's been steady, but everything's made sense. Their interactions have been very heated. Not even very heated. It's just been they've been subtle, but in like a great way. And this is one of those like early AEW wrestler feuds that just hasn't been touched. Everyone is kind of waiting on a little bit. So yeah, I think this could be a great feud. It could be MJF's best since probably CM Punk. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I love the couple weeks of Daniel Garcia that we got, but I think this could very easily be, if everything goes right, MJF's best feud since Punk. So that's where I'd put it at. You think Cedric is actually moving to AEW? Thought there was heat with Tony. Yeah, he is married to someone who has heat with Tony, I'm pretty sure. But I think when you have people in the company advocating for you like he does, I think there is always a chance to work around it. You know what I mean? Andrew Cerro, I'd like to see Speedball link up with Hologram and Commander in that superhero mix. Yeah, he should be working matches like that all the time, man. It's what he's best at. Working matches and doing stuff like that is what's going to get him over. He's a fine promo. But yeah, he's an exciting wrestler. He should be able to do exciting shit just like those two have. Art Irony, low key. I don't want to see MJF on TV anymore unless he stops doing this stupid shtick where all he does is undermine any segment he's in by ironically making fun of any sincerity in the thing. Yeah, it is a pretty big issue with him right now. I think MJF, he's been very shtick heavy for a very long time, man. And I really hope it's hard for me not to hope this Hangman feud is better and kind of steps away from that. But I just don't know yet. I want to see it play out. I want to see him do something different with this. I want to see him try something new. But I don't know, man. We'll see what it looks like. I completely get this. I have the same issue with it a lot of the time. Yeah, I'm hoping for the best. Prince Vegeta, honestly, I don't care if some people leave AEW because the roster is big anyways. I just want Kenny, Hangman, MJF, Young Bucks, Ospreay, Mariah, Hologram, and some of my other faves to stay. All those names, yes. I wouldn't hate seeing some more people leave for AEW. I think they are very full. And I think sometimes it's just good to leave the territory. You know what I mean? Oh, baby. Speedball Roosh. Roosh would fucking murder him because Speedball is so willing to like bump around and do shit like that. That should be fantastic. Idol's Corner. Ricky Starks might have to bulk up, but maybe he will be a heel who has nothing reign like Nakamura. Yeah, it's always possible. You never know who's just going to get thrown a belt. You know what I mean? Yeah, he definitely needs to add some weight. That's the best route for him. And WWE needs to look at a big free agent signing for their NXT men's division, which sucks at the moment. Yeah, I would agree. I think that's what Ricky is there for. I think all the business with Elio del Dr. Wagner Jr., I think that should have been another big signing for them, even though I wouldn't have advocated for it. I wouldn't have wanted it because I really like him. And I don't know how he'd do over there, but that should be someone they were desperate to have. And it didn't seem like they were. So yeah, I would agree with this. And since we reached the bottom of the chat, I appreciate you guys all hanging out. Make sure to leave a like on the stream. Make sure to send in your chats. You lead the show as always. But there is a couple matches we can talk about here because we've talked about the Hurt Syndicate and the Guns. We've talked a little bit about MJF and Dustin Rhodes. I think this will be a very sick match. Apparently, it's going to be commercial free, which could make it even sicker. I think Dustin Rhodes, again, haven't seen any spoilers, so don't spoil this card for me. But I think he's very willing to bleed. I think MJF is very willing to have his kind of match. So I'm really hyped to see what that looks like. I think it'll be MJF's best match in a minute. So I'm down for it, even though I did enjoy one of his matches. But I think it'll be sick. I'm looking forward to it. Megan Bain will be on the show. I'm not going to tell you guys who it's against, but it's a very exciting talent that I have enjoyed for quite a minute. I've kept my eye on for a minute. Not because I've necessarily done it, but because a certain group of 4 has kept me engaged with her work. But Megan Bain will be on the show, having her first Dynamite match. I think is like her singles debut. That should be sick. Megan Bain is fucking awesome. Chris Statlander is on the show against Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford has been a great hand to use, and they've taken well advantage of using it. Chris Statlander is one of the best in the world. I think that match could be very sick. I don't know if this is announced yet, so I'm not going to say this one. But there's a very exciting squash match on this card. The Undisputed Kingdom versus the Death Riders. We talked about this earlier. The Kingdom's been quite good as of late. The Death Riders, haven't seen them work as trios, but we'll see how it goes. If this is a title switch, maybe that could mean some other stuff. That's all I'll say. Then the Max Caster Open Challenge. I have no idea who it's going to be. Some people saying Speedball, others saying, differently. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good card. It's a good card. I'm looking forward to it. We have a couple more chats here, so we'll go through them. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, make sure to leave a like on this stream. It's just me who's here today. So we're working our way through. But I appreciate you guys once again. Our damn Wagner 3G unmasked in the Fed, I fear. No, he won't. Real lucha shit, brother. Love of the mask. Fuck the Fed. We're staying in AAA. Fuck the Fed. We're going to work in a shitty company because we love history and lineage, which is Beast, to be very clear. Idol's Corner. MJF's gimmick is getting old. He needs to interact with the Hurt Business, and they can manipulate him over time like he did to others and maybe turn face after getting betrayed in a good story. Yeah, I don't know. I think MJF is best as a heel. He just needs to switch his shtick up. That's really what it comes down to. Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. I don't know. They couldn't recap. Not with MJF. I'm afraid. I don't think they could recapture that magic. I don't think anybody is better suited for something like that than Sami Zayn. I can't. He's incomparable. You know what I mean? So I see the vision though. JA, will Mina Shirakawa ever put pen to paper? I believe so. I have no idea when her contract comes up. I don't think anyone really knows. I haven't seen that reported anywhere. But I do think she makes the jump whenever that does happen. I don't know when it will. And Dustin is a solid worker, and we'll have a good match with MJF. I would agree. Dustin is very solid. He's willing to do a lot of shit in the ring that not a lot of people his age is willing to do. So that makes him special. So I'm down for it. I think it'll be good as well. Art Irony thinks the Stardom contracts end in March. Yeah, they do have a set date. March would make sense. Well, if that's the case, if Art Irony is real on this front, is being truthful, then yeah, I'd assume about that point. Jumanji Hunter, Cope Mox is the Revolution plan. Ospreay should beat Fletch there as well. Ospreay should then challenge and beat Mox at Double or Nothing. Yeah, because I think they'll run the Ospreay Fletcher 3 there at Revolution. I agree. And yeah, Ospreay should challenge and beat Mox at Double or Nothing. I agree with that too. Ospreay should be the world champion. He should be the world champion walking into the big show. I just agree. I feel exactly what you guys are cooking up here. Let me see here. MJF is underrated in the ring. I think this is true. MJF's shtick kind of gets him some undeserved hate. I think he is very quality in there. He has been time and time again. And I like Penelope being featured more often. Hopefully she starts getting more wins. Wins? I don't know. But featured, I'm very glad to. She's a good hand. It's good to see her getting put in these matches. I think she's been pretty solid in there. So if she keeps being solid and stuff and does actually earn herself some wins, like a spot to be getting some wins, I would have a problem with it. Rylebag, good to see you, brother. I don't know if I've ever seen you around here, so appreciate you jumping in. Favorite Deadlock pod bit? I don't know. I haven't really watched much Deadlock pod bits, like or podcasts in general. But I do see some of the best stuff getting posted on Twitter, so I always enjoy seeing a Deadlock pod bit. I always enjoy seeing one of their clips be posted, but I've never really watched it. But I do appreciate the fellas. Shout out them. Better than Tony Khan of booking wise in 2024. I'm afraid. Art Irony isn't Megasis Aminata that bang. No, it is not. It is okay. I'm gonna mute yourself for 5 seconds. I'm gonna count down from 5. When I say mute, you mute. When this goes away, you're good. Okay, mute. The match is going to be Megasis and fuck. I did it wrong. One more time. Mute. It's going to be Megasis. I forgot the name against Maya World. That's who it's going to be. Okay, you guys are good. Oops. I fucked it up. My fault. Imagine you guys don't care very much. If you heard it, I apologize. But yeah, My World is going to be working. Shout out My World. Been a very, very well spoken of independent talent for a minute now. Prince Vegeta solo Novi stream, just like the old days. True. We did do this all the time way back when. I'm actually curious. I'm going to go look on the channel, see when it's my first stream that was without me. That was a duo. Okay, so 5 months ago on 8/28/24, we did a show with okay, there was one before that. I didn't do any thumbnails. The first non-Novi only pre-show. The last one was 8/14/24, 5 months ago. And after that point, I bumped the show up to 6:30 EST, and I did a show with Caden Lee. That was our first non-me only show. Then we did the Graps Podcast. Then we did Joseph James Holbert. Then we did Wrestle and Marcus, and it's a tell from there. It's a tell from there, folks. We appreciate all the guests that have been featured on this channel. We've had so many over the time, so many repeat guests, and it's been wonderful to hang out and talk Graps with all of them. So I will have a guest, actually. This is a good place to announce it. There will be a guest next week. Said the schedule does align. They've hit me up. I'm glad. I'm very happy they hit me up because I was very happy to get them on the show. I was trying to reach out for a minute there. Let's see here. We have. I wish I had a graphic for it. I wish I had the actual thumbnail ready, but it's not. The Gold Star Podcast Zone on Wrestle Purist. The Joshi legend, the Japanese wrestling fanatic himself, 6-star, will be making an appearance next week on the Novi AEW Dynamite pre-show. I'm very happy to bring 6-star on. I've been talking to them I've known about them for a very long time. I was meaning to ask them for a minute. But yeah, great time. 6-star will be joining us next week, folks. Shout out. Our irony, they should do a Max Caster Open Challenge where every debuting returning wrestler whoops his ass in a reverse gauntlet match. True. I agree with this. Everyone should just keep beating the fuck out of Max Caster. He should keep running around like a little bitch away from them all too. I think the segment from last week was actually kind of funny, which I hate to say it about Max Caster, but it was kind of funny. They should keep doing that. I see this role better suited to Ricochet. I think I remember. Yeah, I think I agree with this. I'm struggling to remember at the moment. Hang on, let me cough. We hear, and I like to see Hologram answer the Max Caster Open Challenge. Yeah, I'd be cool with that. He's in business right now. He's in a little bit of a feud with the fellows over there in Los Ingobernables. But yeah, I would be cool with this as well. Apparently, it's everyone whose contract is up on the same day. New Japan is February and Stardom is March. Okay, got you. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, that's when I see Mina coming over. Vegeta, I think people are sick of MJF talking every week and not wrestling as much, but I'm 120% sure they'll say some good stuff about MJF versus Dynamite. Shake things up and wrestle a bit more. I agree with this for sure. Rylebag, think they'll ever combine the international and continental belts. Vegeta wants those titles separate. Art Irony, I could see them doing that, unifying them at All In when they finally do Takeshita and Okada. Yeah, I was so around the time of the Continental Classic, I thought this was the best decision to make because I don't love the idea of the Continental belt. I've never been a fan of it. I thought it was a bad idea to start with. I think the winner should just get a trophy and a title shot. I think that's the best route to go. It makes the most sense. There is the most time between pay-per-views at that point. Let me actually look and see the schedule. So yeah, let me see. Hang on 1 second. So it'll be World's End from December 28th, and then Revolution will be on March 9th. So that's about a 2-month gap, over a 2-month gap before pay-per-views. And I think that time could be used to build up the Continental Classic winner to have a title shot at Revolution. I think that'd be the best place for it. So yeah, I do think they should combine these belts to keep, to simplify things. They should combine these belts. They should give the Continental Classic winner a trophy and a title shot, make that the prestige of it all, just like the G1. I think that'd be perfect. And I thought Trent would return last week and face Ospreay. Turns out it was Mark Davis. Yeah, it's very interesting for that return. I wasn't sure who it'd be. I did also think it would be Trent. We talked about it on the show with Joe. I was very sure it'd be Trent. But yeah, it was Mark Davis, and I thought it was quite interesting. It was a little bit lazy, like it doesn't make total sense. But it was just nice to see Mark get back in the game, to find himself a role in the TV so he can be on the show every week. So I don't really have that big of an issue with it. I'm cool with it. What are your thoughts on a possible brand split? I've always been for the brand split. I think it gives more opportunity for wrestlers to have more time on the shows, carve out their own individual aspects of the shows. I think it's just a smart decision all around. I mean, Collision, it's not in a good spot, but I think if they change the day to maybe Thursday and they split the brand up, I think that'd be perfect. I'm down for it for sure. Yeah, this also, I mean, it's a good point. They could have done it with Punk was running it, but I think now would be a fine time. They have such a deep roster full of such great talent. They need more opportunities for shots. So I'm down for a brand split. I've always been. So yeah. Prince Vegeta, Okada, and Omega all in Texas will be super sick, though. It does seem to be like that is what they're building to. It seems the reason why I say that is because Okada had a great segment on Collision with Buddy Matthews, where it seemed like he locked back in. It seemed like he was, he's forced. He's born to dilly-dally, but he's forced to lock in, which I love that segment, by the way. And that kind of seems like it could lead us to the road of a serious Okada facing, by God, forged by fire, Omega, which I'd be totally down for. I would be there at All In, so, of course I'd be down for it. Art Irony, I think Mina would be a fool to not sign. Like, she's 38. Fuck, I didn't know that at all. Would have to work fewer dates and would probably make 3 times as much money as she's already really over in the U.S. Yes, this is very true. I think she'd be very silly to not make the jump. I think it's perfect for her. It suits her so well. I had no idea she was 38, but doesn't seem like it. It didn't work like it. So, I'm totally down for this to actually happen. Idol's Corner, who do you think from New Japan will feature in Forbidden Door this year? I think all their top stars, truthfully. I think Gabe Kidd will get involved. I think Yota Tsuji will get involved. I think Oiwa, Yuya. I would say Zach gets involved somehow. Just a lot of the top of New Japan will be there. That's usually what it is, but I think this year especially. Vegeta would be rock hard. If I'd be rock hard if AEW did a brand split. Me too, brother. Me too. And which new stars would you like to see compete in the CC tournament this year? There's a good bit of them. I did a video on the C2 tournament and who I'd like to see in it. There were a couple of names in there that I would enjoy that didn't end up being there. But I think that it's a great spot for some of these lower card guys to just get a little bit, maybe not lower card. I don't think that's the right place for it. But it's a good spot for a lot of these people to get bigger spotlights, bigger highlights. So yeah, I think Bandito is one of those names. Ricochet at some point, I would like to see in it. He was in it this year, wasn't he? Yeah, Ricochet, I'd like to see him get in it again, to be honest with you. Bandito comes to mind first and foremost. There's a lot of Hologram I'd like to see get in there at some point. The Beast Mortos is already in. There's just a lot of guys. So yeah, it should be an avenue for these new stars to get spots on TV. Cal Clark, Buddy should have been in the CC last year. I'd agree, but now that he's part of the Hounds of Hell, has gone in a more individual route, I think it's more likely, and I would also love to see it. He's a crazy talent. For his age, to be able to move like he has with his history is insane. So I agree. Takeshita versus Big Grip at Forbidden Door for the Never belt would be sexual. It would be. I'd be very I would be very horned up at it, brother. I think that would be fantastic. I'd love to see it. This is a great call from Art here. Speedball for sure. Speedball would be in it. We said Bandito, Hologram, and Shibata would be cool as well. I agree with that. So yeah, there's a lot of names that haven't been in the C2 that I'd like to see. And yeah, great Forbidden Door match there. Takeshita, Big Grip. Yeah, it would be fantastic. Folks, if you have any other comments, make sure to get them in now. Any other questions, make sure to get them in now. We are about to wrap things up. We're going to go enjoy Dynamite. It should be a fun show, taped or not. I think we'll have a fun time with it. I've had a fun time with you guys. If you haven't already, make sure to leave a like on the stream. Make sure to comment again any last ones you want to get in before we head out of here. We also have super chats. If you're feeling generous, you want to get those in as well. So yeah, it's been a great time. Should be a great show. Let me see here. N someone like Matthew, Kyle O'Reilly, Moriarty, Shibata, and Speedball. Great call here. Bandito once again. Of course. I think everyone agrees that Bandito should be in there. You know what I mean? Special talent. His charisma. It was shocking me. Like, it was, I already know that he was he was so good at doing charisma, even behind a mask. But yeah, he was so good on it, on Collision. So yeah, Idol's Corner, should Tony Storm be the face of Collision? If a brand split, sure. If not, she should probably bounce back and forth. I think it'd be, her being on both shows would be a good idea. With her, she's become a real star for AEW. So that's where I land on it. Vegeta, I think the reason why CC is a title and not a title shot is because of the Owen Cup. True, it does differentiate things, but look, I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't mind if we got two world title shots up for grabs in a big tournament like that. No issues here. Jay, I think this year is the women's C2. I hope so. I really hope so, because I think it was just, they need it. You know, they need it. It's got to be a big year for the women. Women's wrestling is the future. Women's wrestling has had a great year already. In 2025, I think it'd be the perfect time to do so. So yeah, and have your TNT and CC champion be the face of Collision show. That'd be cool with me too. I'd be 100% down for that. TNT should be the big title of Collision. I agree. Have the trios over there, TNT and trios on Collision. Have the tag and international on Dynamite. Women's C2 for the TBS championship. Down for that, no doubt. But I would prefer it be for the world title. Yeah, and then one block of 6, 2 to 3 women's matches a week, and they lost Rampage. It'd take months. Yeah, on their current schedule, it'd take a while. Change up the schedule. Just do it. Bring in some overseas talent. Have some Joshi talent in there as well. Spice things up. I think it'd be great. And then Cal Clark closes us out in a fantastic way. Willow needs to be world champ at some point. Agreed. Willow is a special talent. She is the person who should be the face of AEW. You should build the franchise around Willow Nightingale. I agree. And folks, I hope you have a wonderful time. If you haven't already, make sure to like the stream. I appreciate you guys all hanging out. It's been a very fun show. Solo show, just like the old days, like Vegeta said. It's a very good time. Next week, we'll be on the same channel, same time as always. We'll feature 6-star of Gold Star fame. It should be a great time. I'm very excited to have them on the show. We have a few more here. If Willow doesn't hold the women's world title by the end of 2025, Tony Khan is cooked. She's basically made in a lab, perfect top babyface. I agree with this. And Vegeta would put a bounty of $700 on TK if he makes the women's C2 for the TBS championship. Unfortunately, it needs to be for the world title. You know what I mean? Both of them should be for world title shots, and Willow should win the women's C2 if it exists. So on that note, hope you guys have enjoyed this show. I'll see you all again next week. And as usual, enjoy Dynamite.